Welcome back to Dabbler in a Box, Season 2, Episode 3. Today, we're going to be taking another road trip out of state to experience some bold flavors from Central Waters Brewing and Oso Brewing in Wisconsin. But first, we're headed down to Rochester to talk with Austin Jevney about bringing the Forager Brewpub magic to the masses with humble Forager Brewing.
Thank you guys so much for choosing Dabbler in a Box. I'm Austin Jevney, head brewer, owner of Humble Forager Brewing Company. We're shooting from Forager Brewery in Rochester, Minnesota. Humble Forager is a sister company of our brand down here, Forager. Super pumped that the Dabbler in a Box wanted to pick up our smoothie sour for its second season. And we're really pumped that you guys get to try that. It's gonna have pink dragon fruit, guava, passion fruit, mango, and pineapple in that. And it's gonna be thick, thick, thick. Forager Brewery started in September of 2015. I was trying to open a brewery all the way back into 2009. There were very few breweries and it was hard to get a job in a brewery. I ended up going across the river to Rush River Brewing Company in River Falls, Wisconsin. Did that for about 5 years on and off part-time. And in the meantime was trying to open a brewery. Ended up not working out. So I took a part-time job for the DNR as a creel clerk on trout streams in southeast Minnesota. And that kind of reinvigorated my love for foraging, something that I'd done with my grandma when I was young, back in Madison, Wisconsin. And it really started helping me guide this creative outlet of putting those foraged ingredients into our beers. My boss at the DNR said, well, you're quite the forager, why don't you just name your brewing company Forager? So I have to give the shout out to Dan Spence with the DNR in Lake City for the name Forager Brewing Company. Forager Brewing Company is a brew pub, and that means in Minnesota, the laws do not allow us to distribute beer outside these walls to liquor stores, bars, or any other venue. We had to open a sister company that operates out of Wisconsin. So we took our friends at Octopi Brewing Company, state-of-the-art facility down there, and they're producing our IPAs and our sour beers for Humble Forager. Kind of what we do here is produce all sorts of different beers. We're able to follow trends because we brew 7 barrels at a time. We're able to experiment with wild mixed culture fermentation, and we're able to do extended barrel aging stuff, which is kind of the focus of our brand here at Forager. And we take the beers that we're really proud of and the recipes we think work super well and upscale those to Humble Forager out of Octopi. Octopi is a fantastic brewing team, people who've worked all over the world at different super successful companies. And it took a lot of that trust with those brewers to take our beer brands to that company. The other company we work with is Fair State Brewing Cooperative out of Minneapolis and St. Paul in the Twin Cities. And I can say the same thing about them. They have the dream team of brewers and staff in the state right now, and they never miss on a beer. So we brew all of our stouts and porters up there, and we are super pumped to be able to work with 2 world-class breweries to get our little tiny dream out here into the big world. We do 2 different realms of extremely weird beer here at Forager. We're right in the middle of Rochester. We're not out on a farm, but we still do spontaneous fermented beer, which basically means we have a big shallow stainless steel tub called a cool ship, and we pump a very unique style of wort into that and let it cool down overnight in the spring and fall each season. We then pump that beer into oak barrels and let the spontaneous yeast and microflora from our environment get into that beer, and then basically ferments for between 18 and 36 months. But it's something very special, and it's a really, really difficult beer to craft into what the finished product is called a goose. We also do something that is very trendy in beer right now, which is make what we call methode push pop. So what we do there is brew a sour-based beer that is kettle soured. It's a very quick process. We use a house culture of lactobacillus for that, which is the same thing you'll find in your Coastal Sunshine. We basically make a base beer, and then we take 1/3 of that and inject in marshmallow fluff, vanilla bean caviar, and a smorgasbord of different fruit purees. That beer is very volatile in the can. It will explode if it gets warm because we don't add any sulfates or preservatives to it. It's actually quite healthy for you because it's basically like drinking a naked juice and then taking a swig of beer after it. September 12th is normally when we do Forager Fest, but we are putting together 12 different beers that we will be releasing for that. There will be 4 barrel-aged beers, 4 pastry stouts, and 4 mixed culture saisons that will be available. I really appreciate you guys supporting Dabbler in a Box. Super exciting to be part of the other 11 breweries in that box that are absolutely fantastic, and I respect all of them. To be alongside Central Waters is something very, very special to me. They're one of my favorite breweries. Really looking forward to seeing you guys all again at beer festivals, at events down here at Forager. And I really want to thank you for the support over the 5 years of Forager and the newfound support and love that everybody seems to be giving Humble Forager. Cheers.
You shouldn't have to forage too much to find 4 packs of Humble Forager in your local liquor stores around the Twin Cities. Up next, break out your flannels and your dancing clogs as we're going to feature the first of 2 music videos from Minnesota's roots music legends, Pert Near Sandstone.
Send my letter back home, tell her I think about her. When I find where I'm gonna plant a bed of flowers where I can rest my head and lay out every night like I did as a kid in my garden of delight. In my younger days, I couldn't show my heart before I strayed away and we grew apart. If I was wiser, I might have stayed close to home, grown a little family and a garden of my own. I wish I could have all the silver I put in my mother's hair, and all the hours that I spent in the flowers, watching the clouds building castles in the air. They're blown away from here. You can't pick a flower and expect it not to wilt. You can't leave your family without a painful guilt. But I'd walk through a bog in a forest full of thorns if I could only find my bed of flowers once more. In memory, everything's easy, a simple life and story. The telephone there never rings, and time doesn't mean a thing. I try to hide away deep into the mountains. Now those castles in the air, I'm no longer counting. I wish I could have all the silver
Fill up your water bottle at the bubbler and secure your cheese curds because we're about to take a trip right into the heart of central Wisconsin to visit two of the state's most beloved breweries, starting with the award-winning Oso Brewing in Plover, Wisconsin, to learn more about their Raspberry Groove Sour.
Hey Dabbler, welcome to Oso Brewing Company. I'm Mark Butera, the founder here. We're in Plover, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful morning. We're 12 years old, be 13 years old in November. Started as a home brewing supply store, Point Brew Supply, and it just kind of grew from there. This is our second location that we're in. We're a brewery that does about 5,000 barrels a year, and we're in the midst of an expansion currently right now. Oso really doesn't mean much. It's Oso good, it's Oso hoppy, it's Oso Wisconsin.
My folks started all this up, so we've had a fun run at all this, and it was quite the opportunity for me to grow up in the beer industry.
I've been with Oso for a little over 2 years now. Fell in love with this brewery a long time ago. Been drinking it even before I started working here. A lot of people know Oso by the sour program. We produce a kettle sour called Infectious Groove. It is our #1 selling beer at the moment. It is a year-round kettle sour that we make.
In Dabbler in a Box Season 2, we've got Oso Raspberry Groove. This is one of several iterations of the fruited groove series that we've done. We just call them our fruit-forward kettle sours. No vanilla in these ones. We do smoothie sour with vanilla as well, all based on that same thing. But this particular beer, first time we've done it, excited to get it going. Aside from our kettle sours and our main line program, we do a barrel-aged program as well. Those beers, one of my favorites coming out of there, the Arbre qui Donne, which is French for the giving tree, or the shaft that gives was another translation we heard. But this is a Georgia peach sour. We use about 2 pounds per gallon of Georgia peaches in that, and that's one of my personal favorites coming out of there.
Mine too.
And we do a whole bunch of different ones. That's really where we started getting attention on the sours. The Blood of the Cherry was another one, with Door County cherries, some things like that. And that's one of the reasons we're really excited to get to our new facility that we're building out and hoping to be in by the end of the year, is to really get some more focus back on the barrel program. So along with this, early September, we will have our peanut butter solution. It's an Imperial Stout with peanut butter. Second time we've done that. That'll be coming out in September as well. And then also our Hop Debauchery, which is a New England double IPA. Both of these beers have been fan favorites for Oso, and we're excited to put them out again. The peanut butter solution was one of my personal favorites.
First time we did that was last year for our anniversary party, and largely successful. I agree with Dylan. Easily one of my favorite beers that we've done. I had to sleep in a hotel up here last year. Ain't one too many, but you know what? It's what we do. So
there's always a hotel in crawling distance from Oso.
yes, right across the parking lot.
Well, hey, thanks for checking out our beer and Dabbler in a Box, and hope you guys enjoy it, and cheers.
Cheers.
From their humble beginnings in homebrew supply to this groovy sour right here, we've always been huge fans of Oso Brewing. Keep an eye out for their 4-packs of Raspberry Groove in liquor stores and bottle shops near you. Whether it's Vikings or Packers, Grey Duck or Goose, we can all agree that Central Waters Brewing Company is a pillar of the beer scene here in the upper Midwest. Let's head over to Amherst, Wisconsin to learn about how they made their extremely unsettled double IPA.
Welcome here to the Barrel House at Central Waters Brewing Company in beautiful little Amherst, Wisconsin. My name is Anello Malika. I'm the vice president and one of the owners here at Central Waters. I've been in business for, coming on 23 years. This is a great place to have the interview. I wish you could smell the way it smells in here right now, because it's awesome. And with that, I'm gonna crack my first beer of the day. So I'm drinking Extremely Unsettled. This is part of what we call our high tier can releases. We're doing a different beer every month, going to our full footprint. Here for the month of August, we released Extremely Unsettled. It's a double New England style India Pale Ale, 8.5% alcohol, so it's a little bit of a doozy. Citra hops, Mosaic, Mandarina, 55 IBUs. It's a really, really nice citrus forward, double style New England with a really nice malty backbone to balance that out. The name Central Waters, I mean, some of it's a little bit obvious. We're in central Wisconsin. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of water in Wisconsin. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm pretty sure Wisconsin has more lakes than Minnesota. And it's also duck, duck, goose. It's not duck, duck, gray duck. The logo for the beer is a heron, and the great blue heron uses the Wisconsin River, which runs right through this part of the state, as a migratory throughway. So we see a lot of herons around here. We see a lot of big migratory water birds. So all of that just kind of meshes together, and the logo, the emblem, the names, we're trying to exude that like sense of place, the trees, the water, the bird. It's who Central Waters is. Here we are coming into our 23rd year of business. If you think back to when we started, 1998, craft beer was nothing like what we're dealing with today, or even the last 6 or 7 years. It's nothing like that. We were making, 3 or 4 styles of beer, a porter, a red ale, and a pale ale. Back then, we weren't even making India pale ales. That wasn't even a thing yet. So as the years progressed and the industry changes, we found ourselves doing things that we never thought we'd be doing before. So we started barrel aging in 2001, which was way ahead of the curve for that. We had heard of 2 other breweries, Goose Island and Founders, that were doing some barrel-aged beers, but we couldn't get their beer here, so we had no idea what it was like. We got in touch with Buffalo Trace through a couple friends and bought a few oak barrels, threw some stout in it, let it age for a while. Took the profits from that and bought 6, and then bought 12, and then bought 50. And over the years, we've just kept growing it. So now we're amongst, over 3,000 oaks sitting here right now that we're rotating. Some of these are aging for 9 months, some are a year, some are 2 years, some are 3 years. Some of it's experimental. Starting at the beginning of last year, we got the canning line and started playing it to some of like the newer, more, at the time to us, experimental styles. New England style India Pale Ales, milkshake India Pale Ales, kettle soured beers, heavily fruited beers, and now we're just running through that. And we have so many ideas. We have more ideas for beer than we have space in a calendar to fit it. Really key things about us is we're trying to shrink the footprint of our product as much as possible. So if you've ever visited us here, one of the things you'll notice when you come over the bridge is a field of solar panels. We actually generate 65% of our power here on site through the use of solar. And through the years of growing that, we made conscious choices to decide, okay, we can only afford to put in a fermentation tank or a solar panel. We made the solar panel decision thinking long term and chose to stay a little bit smaller and shrink the footprint of our beer instead. We're sourcing barley 100% from Breese Malt. So Breese Malt is a maltster in Chilton, Wisconsin, an hour and a half from here. 100% of our barley comes from Breese. It always has, and it always will. We have dedicated silos for a local farmer that's growing local organic barley that Breese takes, malts, and ships only to Central Waters. So we're also adding locally grown barley into every batch of beer that we make. We're in the middle of the Extremely Unsettled month here in August. In September, we are dropping 2 new beers, and both of them are really fun. So in the High Tier Can series, we have a beer we're calling Wendy. The style is crazy. We did a pilot. It actually works really well. It is like a pumpkin spice latte India Pale Ale. So the label looks like it's a Starbucks cup and the name Wendy is written on it. And then in the Barrel Age series, we have a new one. We're doing a bourbon barrel aged vanilla bean cherry stout. And that will launch for you guys as well in the month of September. Thank you guys for joining us here at Central Waters. Thanks for participating in Dabbler in the Box Season 2. It's a super fun idea and a way to keep all of you still engaged in brands like Central Waters. So we hope you get a chance to come visit us at our tap room, comfortable seating outside. Someday, hopefully, we'll be able to seat everybody inside. And I hope to someday be back into Minnesota and see you at a really fun on-premise event. In the meantime, support Central Waters, support local Midwest beers. Cheers.
Thanks to Central Waters for brewing an IPA good enough to settle any border dispute. And thanks as well to Oso Brewing and Humble Forager Brewery for helping us out with this episode, as well as Certix Liquor for their help with every single episode of our Dabbler in a Box video series. We're gonna hear one more song from Pert Near Sandstone, and then we're gonna see you again in episode 4.
Music isn't a commodity. It's a craft. That's why we go to work every day, pounding the sidewalks and venue floors of communities big and small, to discover, empower, and celebrate new and important voices shaping the future of music's history.
Look away, close your eyes and it isn't there. Who to blame? Point a finger, it's anywhere. It's all a dream. Wake me up cause it isn't real. Doesn't mean this wasn't part of the deal. Cause some go up and some go down, and some get lost and some are found. Beware the king who steals the crown, cause sometimes kings become the clown. Pick a side, kick a line down in the sand. You decide, or believe every last command. Where are you? You just show up and go along. Make the truth. You are right, we are wrong. Some move on, some turn around, and some set sail and run aground. Beware the king who steals the crown, cause sometimes kings become the clown. Yesterday, there was a song that we used to sing, but today, you're all chanting a different thing.